Hi, this is Ben Wells from the Information Lab part of Cohort 15. And in this video, I'm going to show you how that we can use the Transpose tool in Alteryx to pivot our data. So I've been on the ONS website and I've downloaded some GDP account data. And if we have a look at that data, we can see that it's quite a wide data source. So for each column, we have a different account, and then we have some kind of meta information, and then we have the dates. So the idea of the Transpose tool is that we can use it to pivot these columns into a row for each of the names of the columns and then for the values. So the final output we wish to get would be something like this. So we've gone from a wide form dataset to a long form dataset, which can be useful if you were to bring it into Tableau, for example. So let's go into Alteryx and have a look how we would do that. So first thing I've done is, I've just brought the data into Alteryx, and we can see that, yes, it is a very wide dataset. We have 932 columns, and we can firstly see that there's a bit of meta information we just need to use a bit of data preparation to get rid of, and then we can transpose for our dates and the values. So the first thing I'm going to do is go into preparation. I'm going to put a record ID on, and we can see that we only want to keep information which is greater than or equal to record ID 7, so we can use a filter tool. And the formula is just going to be record ID is greater than or equal to 7. So if I run that, we can see in our true output, actually want to do greater than or equal to, or less than or equal to. Just run that again. So we can see that we now just have that dates information and the values for each of the accounts, and in the false we have that kind of meta info. So what we want to do now is we want to use that transpose tool to pivot the columns. So if we go to transform, and then we bring transpose onto the view, and we'll see we have two options here. We have our key columns and we have our data columns. So our key columns are the columns that we don't wish to pivot or transpose. So if I click record ID and title, you'll see that as you check them in the key columns, that they are unchecked in the data columns. So all the data columns that are checked are the columns that you wish to transpose. So we've essentially, out of the 933, we've unchecked 2, so there's 931 columns that have been checked in this transpose box here. So if I just hit run, and we look at the output, and we can see that the fields in the key columns have been duplicated. So for each column that's been pivoted, the record ID and title has been copied. So we should see that 7 for the record ID should go down to the amount of columns there were, which was 931. So as we can see, it was 931 columns for each record there. So we don't actually need the record ID in our analysis. So if we just uncheck that in the key columns, and if it's unchecked in the key columns and unchecked in the data columns, and we run it again, it's not going to be included in our final output. So we now have the title, the name of those columns, and the value. So we could next output the data and perform some analysis in Tableau of it. So I hope that that video has been useful with the Transpose tool. Please feel free to subscribe to the channel. Check out the most recent uploads and any other related videos and information you need here.